Hey guys, this book is called The Soul's Code In Search of Character and Meaning by James Hillman. It was a New York Times bestseller. You can check it out real quick. All right, where's the light? Where's the light? There we go. Oh man. Okay, there we go. All right, you got it all. I'm going to read this whole book to you. It's 350 so pages. Um, that's including bibliography. It's about 300 pages. And the reason why I'm reading this book to you is because it talks about your innate intuition. The intuition that you had on certain moments and certain days, certain evenings, certain times, where you just knew something about yourself and there was no good reason why you knew it. I mean, it really had to do with the fact that you just knew that there's a calling for you, and it has to do with this urge that you're having, but it may not necessarily go along with anything you've ever been told by authority figures. It's from the internal authority. For example, when I was growing up, this is an example of the urge. I received detention after detention for talking. I simply couldn't stop talking. Now it's interesting that a particular motivational speaker named Anthony Robbins also had a lot of trouble with being quiet. He was continuously getting in trouble with talking too much. And in one of his speeches, he said, hey, I ran into some old teachers before and I said, what do you guys think? This talking thing really worked out. See, that kind of inner talking, that was an urge that he couldn't hold back, just like me. It's an urge that I can't hold back. Some people are into all sorts of different things and they've had that urge. People have said to them continuously throughout their life, you'd be really great at this. You'd be really great at that. And be awake and pay attention to the things that are consistent. When I was 14, I was selling a bicycle to an African American gentleman, and my boss really just didn't think the guy was able to, buy the bike. It was really expensive at the time, and he just, I don't know if he was racist or whatever. And I don't mind, each person can have their own opinion about how they feel for their own reasons. But I told my boss, hey, boss, I'm with a customer right now. Well, we're going to finish up and then I'll get to whatever you wanted me to do. Excuse me. And I got back to working with my customer. That customer slipped 20 bucks in my pocket. This was way over 15 years ago. I was 14 years old. 20 bucks was like 5 hours worth of my work. That was a lot of money. He shook my hand and told me that I had a lot of respect and that he liked me and that I'd go somewhere one day. That was interesting. I've had other customers in my life of the work that I've done actually give me cash and not even buy products from me. Simply just give me money like I was a waiter or some kind of great valet parker because they really liked the way I interacted with them. That's a really important message. I've had also a lot of people say, you should go to Toastmasters. You ought to be a motivational speaker. You should do like PR, public representation work for a wonderful organization. God. Or sometimes people said, it's just the way you say things. I mean, I know you're saying something that I already know, but it's the way you put it together. It becomes new to me. Those are the most powerful pieces of information because my life now is working around helping people hear things through hypnotism, neuro-linguistic programming, authorship of the work that I'm writing, as well as public presentations and speeches. That is a lucrative business. Not only is it so much fun, not only do I get to meet a lot of people, I get to know that I'm really making a healthy impact. See, there's something very special about you too. It could be anything. You might have always just had a wild love for children that you just couldn't explain. And economically, you're like, how am I going to survive with that? There's always a way to survive with your passion when you cultivate it over time. There's going to be another series of work that I do called The Science of Getting Rich. You can also look it up on YouTube and find out a lot more about it. The way I'm going to communicate it is going to make it simple, easy, and effective to understand almost absolutely immediately, if not immediately. So without further ado, we're going to get into this book. Just checking time. There's going to be a lot of parts to it because it takes a while to read something. And I hope it really makes a difference for you. I'm enjoying the opportunity to read it for you and to you. And let's get started. Chapter 1. In a nutshell, the acorn theory and the redemption of psychology. There is more in a human life than our theories of it allow. Sooner or later, something seems to call us into a particular path. You may remember this something as a single moment in childhood when an urge out of nowhere, a fascination, a peculiar turn of events stuck like an enunciation. This is what I must do. This is what I've got to have. This is who I am. This book is about that call. If not this vivid or sure, the call may have been more like gentle pushings in the stream in which you drifted unknowingly to a particular spot on the bank. Looking back, you sense that fate had a hand in it. This book is about that sense of fate. These kinds of enunciations and recollections determine biography as strongly as memories of abusive horror. But these more enigmatic moments tend to be shelved. Our theories favor traumas setting us to the task of working them through. Despite early injury and all the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, we bear from the start the image of a definite individual character with some enduring traits. This book is about that power of character. Because the traumatic view of early years so controls psychological theory of personality and its development, the focus of our rememberings and the language of our personal storytelling have already been infiltrated by the toxins of these theories. Our lives may be determined less by our childhood than by the way we have learned to imagine our childhoods. We are, this book shall maintain, less damaged by the traumas of childhood than by the traumatic way we remember childhood as a time of unnecessary and externally caused calamities that wrongly shaped us. So this book wants to repair some of that damage by showing what else was there, is there, in your nature. It wants to resurrect the unaccountable twists that turned your boat around in the eddies and shallows of meaninglessness, bringing you back to feelings of destiny. For that is what is lost in so many lives, and what must be recovered, a sense of personal calling, that there is a reason I am alive. Not the reason to live, not the meaning of life in general or a philosophy of religious faith. This book does not pretend to provide such answers. It does speak to the feelings that there is a reason for my unique person is here, and that there are things I must attend to beyond the daily round that give the daily round its reason. Feelings that the world somehow wants me to be here, that I am answerable to an innate image which I am filling out in my biography. That innate image is also the subject of this book, as it is the subject of every biography, and we will encounter many biographies throughout these pages. The biography question haunts our Western subjectivity as its immersion in therapies of self-show. Everyone in therapy, or affected by therapeutic reflection, even as deluded by the tears of TV talk, is in search of an adequate biography. How do I put together into a coherent